Well, you never know who you're going to meet at a downtown Toronto protest, folks, and I'm here with Bob Chalmers, who 10 years ago was charged with a hate crime, specifically Section 319-2, and he went through quite an ordeal, lost his job. He doesn't want to get into his story. You can Google it. But as you know, earlier this week, Kevin J. Johnson was charged with a similar hate crime. And Bob, given that this is yet another individual being hauled before the courts at a future date, what is your outlook on what happened to Kevin J. Johnson, and do you have any advice for him moving forward?
Well, I mean, the first thing I want to say is don't stop, because each case is a little bit different and will help us to develop something to use against the people who want to get M103 and other free speech, trying to stop our free speech. That's what they're trying to do. And so if Kevin keeps going forward, no matter what, with his court case, that will help everyone.
And not to get into the nitty-gritty details, but the reason why you were charged was simply for expressing your opinion on Islam, correct?
That's correct.
Not advocating for death or harm to any identifiable group.
No, I was just talking about the truth about Muhammad. They seem to think that they can get away with it here as if we had Sharia law.
And Bob, tell me, going back a decade ago to when you were charged, do you see the situation getting worse on the street?
I think in total it is, because
in terms of curtailing freedom of speech, I mean.
Right. That's right. I mean, because even though it may not be on the street, it's now in the system more than it was 10 years ago. And it's working its way through so that pretty soon we will be charged for what we think.
And Bob, one last question. Kevin J. Johnson, I believe, will be found not guilty of these charges, but at the end of the day, he's going to be handed a legal bill that will, in all likelihood, be in the six figures. You, with your case, you end up losing your job through these trumped-up charges. Is this the unspoken strategy going on, that if you want to exercise your freedom of speech in this country right now, it's not going to be free? In fact, it's going to be very, very expensive.
That's absolutely true, and it's the same as, you know, as I said, I met Ezra long ago when he was going through the process, and he's a good example of the process being the punishment. How long did they have 6 lawyers on his case in Alberta? And again, I had to go through a whole year of, a little over a year of waiting for my trial. There is no speedy justice, and sometimes no justice here.
You can win the battle and lose the war, right?
Well, I'd rather lose the battle, but we got to win the war.